Hi everybody, this is Lara at Pure Elliott Wave. I'm going to analyse Zilliqa. Is that how you say it? Zilliqa? It's got two L's. Do we pronounce this like you do in Espanol, Zilliqa, or is it Zilliqa? Anyway, ZIL-USD. We're going to be analysing that one today. I've updated my data. I'll look at technical analysis last. First, let's look at the weekly chart. This was my last count for Zilliqa. I started it down at the low on March 2020, and from this low to this high I can see a pretty good looking 5-wave structure higher, and I had considered a 3-wave structure down could have been over there, but obviously price is moving lower. So the obvious thing I want to do with this is I'm just going to check to see if X is 90% the length of W. No, it's 86%. So this could still look like a double zigzag, and X could be an expanded flat. A bit time consuming, but I'm just going to look at the length of B in relation to A here. It's 1.2 times length of A. It doesn't look ideal, but it doesn't look too bad. There's a lot of overlapping in there too, so I think this is probably some kind of B wave. And so intermediate 2 could be a double zigzag, and I think I'd want to label A and B over there like that. I think I need to move the degree of all of this up 1 degree. Let's label this at primary degree. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so I'm going to save that and create a daily chart from this and look at the detail of intermediate Y. And they're all moving up quite strongly today. Bitcoin especially. Haven't looked at too many of the other coins at the moment, but there's some strong upward movement today, while a lot of the other little cryptocurrencies have found a low back here. Zilliqa is moving lower. So let's quickly see if minor A will subdivide as a 5-wave impulse. I think it's going to look pretty good. Not too sure about that 3rd wave. It does have a 3-wave look. That's actually, sadly, typical for cryptocurrencies' 3rd wave impulses. I think I'd label this like this. Yeah, I think that's going to be fine. Okay. And the 5th wave looks like a pretty good impulse. Yep, I'd want to see that as an impulse. See how this 3rd wave has a curved look to it? That's normal. That's what I mean by they have a 3-wave look. This could be a triangle here for minor B. Let's see if that fits. Nope, we'd have to put C and D over here. I don't think the trend lines are going to work. Not too bad. Could put B over here. Would this work if you have A here? No, because then C's truncated. B could have been the double zigzag. Within a triangle there should be one more complicated multiple. And then Y. This doesn't look ideal, but it's okay. And one of these subwaves needs to be a double zigzag, and I think it's best seen in that B wave position. Most commonly it's wave D, but it doesn't have to be. Okay, so if we have a triangle over there, which looks okay and meets all Elliott wave rules, then could minor C be over here? Well, first of all, I'm not saying that it is. I just want to see if it could be. No, I'd want to see 1 and 2 over here. There's so much overlapping in here. Where is the 3rd wave? Oh, could be there. I would see this here and this an expanded flat, but now the 3rd wave. Okay, that's going to be over here, yeah. Yeah, that actually works. And then could the 4th wave? No, I can't see a triangle in here. Is the 5th wave? No, now this, oh, hang on. Okay, so here's an Elliott wave rule, which is often misunderstood, and motive wave also misunderstands it. The rule for a 4th wave within an impulse is it may not move back into the 1st wave price territory. If you have an expanded flat in a 2nd wave position like this, the 4th wave can move into the 2nd wave price territory and the wave count's valid. The 4th wave may not move into the 1st wave price territory, so it's remained below 0.035068, So when motive wave tells me that's a problem, I just ignore that because that's not a problem, the rule is met. And now we can see this downward movement is a really nice looking zigzag for sub-minuet B. It actually does fit, it actually does work. I think I'm going to expand this out, and I think I can see an ending contracting diagonal for this final fifth wave here. It doesn't meet rules regarding wavelengths. Yes, it does. And the trend lines converge, not perfect. There's a little overshoot here, and the fifth wave doesn't overshoot the 1-3 trend line. It doesn't have to, it just most commonly does. Okay, so it is possible it could be over there, but does this have support from classic analysis? I think we would also need to see a new high above 0.048838 to have confidence in this view. While price remains below this point, we cannot have confidence that this wave count is correct. So this is a really important price point. It has to be breached before we can have confidence in this view. That a new high above this price point by any amount at any time frame means that upward movement cannot be a second wave correction within minus C. We can't just move the labeling within minus C down 1 degree and see 1, 2, because 2 may not move beyond the start of 1. So a new high above this point tells us minus C is complete, should be done, which means intermediate Y, and so primary 2 would most likely be complete at that point. So that would be my bottom line for the Elliott wave count. Let's look at some classic technical analysis. Now, first of all, let's look at this previous low and compare and contrast to this low here. There's a bullish piercing pattern here. Did it have support from volume? No, it did not. What was the downward movement, this downward trend like? On balance, volume was making lower lows with price. Here's the low for on balance volume. The close 0.004474, the close 0.0038. So price closed lower, on balance volume was higher. There's some bullish divergence here. ADX hadn't caught up with the trend. RSI didn't reach oversold. Money flow index did reach oversold on this. The close 0.005902. Money flow is higher, price is lower. There's bullish divergence between money flow and price and on balance volume and price. ATR declined throughout the bear market, flat throughout the start of the bull market, increases throughout the next bull market. Volatility is to the upside for this market. Stochastics was oversold. At the weekly chart level, this downward movement, price is falling, and then we have a strong bearish candlestick with a bullish long lower wick. No bullish reversal pattern at the weekly chart level. Sideways movement, a slow start to the next trend, acceleration through the middle, explosion at the end. At the low, there was a decline in volume pushing price lower actively on these two downward weeks, and on the final downward week, much weaker volume. The first inside week, which closed green, had even weaker volume. It's not until here that we start to see an increase in volume pushing price higher. So this was very weak off that low. That would have been really hard to identify. On balance volume gives us a little bit of possibly bullish divergence between this low here. Price is closing lower here. On balance volume is higher. This divergence is bullish. ADX, too low to tell us there was a downward trend at the end of that downward trend, so didn't reach extreme. RSI exhibited some quite strong bullish divergence. From this low back here, the close 0.005370, and this low here, the close 0.003533. Prices closed lower, but RSI is higher. It didn't reach oversold though, but it did at the monthly chart level, not at the weekly. And some good bullish divergence between price and money flow index. Money flow index is higher, price is closing lower. ATR declined throughout the end of the bear market, a little increase at the end of the bear market. That's good to see. That's a common feature at the end of bear markets for these markets. Then flattens off as price starts out a new bullish trend, accelerates through the middle and explodes at the end as ATR shows an increase in range or volatility. Stochastics good strong bullish divergence as well. On the weekly chart for the current low, I have to move everything over a little bit to the left here so we can see what's happening with volume. At these lows, I don't see a bullish candlestick reversal pattern yet on the weekly chart, but this current week is incomplete. We're only on Tuesday. If it continues higher, it could close as a bullish engulfing pattern. Here's a really strong bullish engulfing pattern. It had pushed from volume, but that wasn't the low. Prices continued on to make lower lows. That's really difficult. You could have called a low down here. What is happening to volume? We have this huge volume spike for this week here. Let's move that off. Volume pushing price lower, and then a little bit of push for price higher. Volume continuing to decline. A little bit of an increase in the last completed downward week. So, well, that could be bearish or bullish either way. You can see an increase in volume at the end of a bear market, but it will also happen, obviously, beginning and middle as well. On balance volume, looks like there's some good strong bullish divergence. The close here, 0.0317, and the close back here for price, 0.0319. Price is closed lower. On balance volume is a lot higher. There's some strong bullish divergence there. ADX still declining, no clear trend at the weekly chart level. The positive DX lines just crossed above the negative, but ADX is at a very low level. No real divergence between price and RSI. Between price and money flow index has reached deeply oversold. On this low, the close for price 0.034895. The last completed week, 0.031. There is now some strong bullish divergence between price and money flow index. ATR declining at quite a low level, a decline in volatility for this market, and stochastics oversold. There's strong support here, about 0.028117. If price can break below that support, there's next support of 0.015378. And there's reasonable resistance at 0.051832. That resistance needs to be broken, and preferably resistance at this high as well, 0.228128, before we can have real confidence that a low is in place. At the daily chart level, what does it look like? So here's this consolidation with a slow drift lower, and there's strong support here. There's a very strong hammer candlestick pattern at this low. This looks like almost a gravestone doji, and the current session completing a bullish engulfing pattern. Here's another candlestick. Another hammer candlestick pattern also about this low. This upward candlestick, well, it's an upward session with a high high and a high low. It's closed green. It has push from volume. The volume profile continues to look overall bullish, but price is slowly drifting lower. So that's contradictory, isn't it? Price is slowly drifting lower. On balance volume is making a series of higher lows. So there's some good strong bullish divergence there between price and on-balance volume. Currently ADX at the daily chart level is declining. There's no clear trend at this time frame. Has it reached extreme for the downward trend? No, it has not. With all of these bounces along the way, it just hasn't caught up with the downward trend at all. RSI is exhibiting some long-term bullish divergence. This low here, the close, 0.033401, and the close down here, 0.029279. Price is closing lower, but RSI is closing higher. Some long-term bullish divergence. Also between price and money flow index. Has money flow index reached oversold deeply at the daily chart level? ATR is very low. There's a lack of volatility in this market at this time. And stochastics returning back to oversold, also exhibiting bullish divergence. So even though, however, there is this long-term bullish divergence, price is slowly drifting lower. It could absolutely, certainly continue to drift slowly lower before we find a low formed. I would say the probability of a low forming here, or sooner rather than later, is over 50%, possibly about 60%. With a completed Elliott wave structure at the daily chart level, yeah, I'm going to come back to this. This is my bottom line for Zilliqa. I would want to see a new high above this confidence point, 0.048838, before I would have confidence that this low is a sustained low. That's it from me. I've got, I think, 8 or 9 more on my list. I should get my list worked through in the next week or so, and then we'll be having a voting system for free analysis. So don't ask me, please, to analyse any other markets in comments, because the answer will be not until I've finished my list and implemented a voting system. Thank you for your patience.